We are live, and we always start with a song for some reason. Hey, all right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whoever you may be, Vanessa Collins, hi, XX Bobby 88XX, Mary Ryan, Max Ryan, sorry, Charmed Mess. Oh, we're here, we're in the house. Thanks for the hearts already. Let me spin this around. Jay Trevolino, hi, Charmed Mess. Okay, again, I have to, oops, wait a minute, I hit the wrong thing. But since I don't know Bobby Smith before, laughter is timeless. Imagination has no age and dreams are forever. Walt Disney. Welcome, Bobby. I think you might be a first-timer. Hey, Nori, glad to have you here. Mike Broadwell has joined. Good to see you, Max. Carmen C. Barrett. And Vanessa has invited followers, and that would be really nice of all of you to do, too, if you really felt generous. Ephraim, wow, we got a couple of my coaches in the house. All right, Shane 1989 is here, and I don't believe we've met Shane. Let's find out a little bit about you, shall we? Katie Del Rey. Oh, I recognize your name, I think. Art therapy. Ooh, love it. High anxiety and embrace it. Love music festival and meeting new people. All right, everybody. So you know the drill when you come in. Hypno Honey. Hi, Hypno Honey. I think you're new too. Wow. Mike Broadwell's joined us. Hold on. Let's check out Hypno Honey real quick. Linda Van Haver, expert in creating self-esteem. Very nice. Empowerment coach and president of Claim Your Thunder. I like that name. Claim Your Thunder. Okay. So yeah, we got a couple of my coaches in the house. You'll be meeting them more intimately in coming days, and I'll be talking about that shortly. In fact, let me write that down on my notes so I don't forget. We don't want to forget that. Rock 15 has joined. All right, whoops. Yeah, no, I get it right. These are all new people. Rock, Nike, not provided a description, so there's not much I can say about Rock at this point. Look at that. Shane saying hello to the coaches. That's very nice. All right, so Avery Ford is back in the house. Nice to be seen, Hypno Honey. All right. Well, I have to say, and I'll keep welcoming you in as you come, and if you want to invite followers, we are talking about a very important topic. Great to be seen by the likes of you, Max. We are talking about a very, very, very important topic today. Halo, Greg. Adrian Rollins has joined us and said hello, and thank you very much. Don't forget that you can check each other out as you come in. If somebody is interesting to you or you feel this intuitive pull that you want to learn a little bit more about them, you just click their name. ESL Teaching in Paris, hey. And you can follow them. And I would, like I said, I'll tell you about my weekend in just a moment. Evelyn Leon is here as well. Now we can really get this party started. Ty Tyler. You guys, seriously, check out Ty Tyler. Okay, so I'm going to start talking a little bit. And yes, let's party. Let's get this party started. All right. So yes, I missed last Friday and last Monday because I was home in Atlanta and visiting my kids. Had an excellent time, but I got to tell you, I really, really missed you guys. I actually had a dream about periscoping. I'm probably not the only one, but and I've bitten my lip. By the way, you see this here? I have bitten my lip 1,000 times over the. You ever have those days where you like bite it once and then you can't stop biting it because whatever it swells up? That's what this weekend was. I don't know what the heck was going on. I don't know. But you just moved from Georgia. I moved from Georgia 3 years ago. I'm in here in Marina Del Rey. Guys, if you want to, you can share where you're from. It's a nice way to get commonality and geographically situated. Hi, Sandal. Nice to have you. Okay, so Ohio and Michigan, Las Vegas, Scotland. Woo! In Tampa. Rock this day like a vibrational boss. Nori, I love you. Okay, Paris. Awesome. Canada, Denver, California, New York City, Wisconsin, near Louisville, San Diego. You'll notice I say Louisville. I did not say Louisville. Okay. You had a dream about periscoping last night. New Jersey. Excellent. Hi, Coach Christie. Beyond Creative. You think you missed me? Well, let's find out, shall we? Wilshire, UK. Awesome. Mexico. Yeah. All right. Well, we are global as all get out today. And we're talking about a very important topic, which is who are you going to be? And I'll get to that in just a moment. But, I always have to ramble on about something for a few minutes. So, yeah, I was really, really missing I know it could be a problem, Jess. But I'm just on this schedule of Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I do these law of attraction scopes every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. And I'd gotten into the groove of it, and then the groove went away. And so I think my brain was just like, you got to do it, you got to do it. And I remember I had a whole dream about a whole periscope, the whole thing. It was really weird. And I was just trying to figure out, can I find time to do one? But I just couldn't. So it's really, really great to be back. It was really, and look, while I was in Atlanta, for those of you who have watched my scopes for a while, you know that my eyesight is leaves a little something to be desired when it comes to reading the comments. So I purchased a new set of readers, and they are my new best friend. Okay, so couple of little things. Okay, so I just want to relate this to you too because it was funny. If you guys were on my last scope, missed you too. Tulips, butterfly eyes. You guys remember what we talked about last time? Did someone say judgment? That's correct. All of you get a gold star who said judgment. And we were talking about, you know, how often we judge people when we don't even think about it. You know, make judgments about them, and sometimes good, sometimes bad. And we were talking about, you know, my directive to you or my invitation to you was to notice when you judge, because it's so automatic. Most of the time we don't notice. We're judgmental machines. We're created to judge and assess and stuff, but we take it off into various directions that don't always serve us. So you know, I was saying to observe when you judge people. So the very next day, I go to Atlanta, and so the airport is a judgment central. I mean, you cannot sit in the airport and look around and not, you know, there's too many people. And it's just, it was amazing to me noticing. And it wasn't so much in the airport when I was noticing it. You know when I noticed it? You know how you get in the plane and you sit down and now everybody else is coming in and you've got that empty seat beside you and all of that? Yes, I attracted exactly what I talked about. And then here come everybody. Is that not the judgment parade or what? I mean, you know what I'm talking about? You're sitting there in your chair and you're assessing every single person. Oh, I hope they don't fit here. Oh, well, that would be all right. Avoid eye contact, you know, all that whole thing. Because you're making all of these judgments. Every single time a person walks in the plane, you're making a judgment. So it was like judgment overload. And I was kind of laughing to myself going, oh my God, you know, I was just talking about this yesterday, you know, wanting to notice when we judge people. And it was just like overload. It was like, okay, I just need to close my eyes or something. Anyway, yes, observation and judgment is different, and that's what I was talking about the other day. There's assessment using information that you know gather and all of that, and then there is observation, which is just noticing without any sort of emotional, you know. But it can be assessing, but some people judge. Let's face facts. Some people do assess, some people judge. That's just the fact, and so. It's just a notice. It's just an invitation to notice. All right, this scope, Vaish, I don't know how you pronounce that. This scope is about who are you going to be, and it's a very important topic as it relates to the law of attraction. So, but before we start this, let me just say a couple of things, and then I promise I'm going to get into the meat. Okay? So, any last-minute invitations of followers would be great because we are going to get into it in just a second. For those of you who are watching the voiceover scope last week, I know this seems unrelated, but there's a lot of crossover here, so I wanted to just announce I did some voiceover coaching with a couple of people last week. We're going to do a follow-up, I think, on Friday on Blab. So if you can go over to blab.im/Bob Doyle Secret and follow me, then you'll get a notification when I schedule the show, which I'll probably do later today, and then you can subscribe to the show and be notified and be there if you want to. All right, that's all I'm going to say about that. Blab. Oh yeah. So one of the other things we talked about doing was, you know, I have a whole new coaching organization. I've spent the last almost year certifying a bunch of coaches, and so what I want to do in a way to introduce them to you is do some blabs and feature a coach each time who speaks on a particular topic related to the law of attraction. So this will be an opportunity for me and my coach to converse about a particular topic and then bring you guys on live on Blab and ask questions and discuss this particular topic. It can be anything from self-love to money to creativity, whatever. And of course, when I schedule the Blab, you'll know how to get a Blab priority code. Well, if you mean to be notified, you just go follow me. Okay, what is this, Mr. Moonwalker says? I'm confused. Well, this is what you're talking about. This is a scope I do 3 times a week. Start over. Well, I'm actually just getting started, Mr. Moonwalker. There's always a little bit of catching up to do, and I had missed the past couple because I was out of town. So, this is a law of attraction scope. I am Bob Doyle. I was one of the featured teachers in the film and the book The Secret, which was all about the law of attraction. Came out about almost 10 years ago. That's, oh my God, almost 10 years ago. Anyway, so I've been teaching the law of attraction from a scientific standpoint, very practical implementation of these principles for, since 2002, actually. I'm sorry that it keeps freezing. Anybody else having that problem? Looks really great over here. I've got a nice strong connection, and I am in airplane mode, and nothing should be interfering. But this week's topic is about being. Who are you going to be? One of the things that I talk, and let me just say that once I start getting into the teaching piece, I can't read the comments because I get so distracted that I get thrown off track. So I will go back to addressing your comments after I get done with the actual just discussion of the topic. So, one of the things that I talk about right out of the chute with any client or any program I do is creating, a vision for yourself. Not piecemealing like I want $1 million, I want this, but the whole life vision, all of the pieces together. And I think I did a scope on that earlier. If not, I need to do one on the intricacies of creating your vision so that it actually works for you, actually pulls you in an inspired way towards it rather than fragmenting you and all of this other stuff. But one of the things that people sometimes leave out of their vision, and it's a really, really, thank you, Claire. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad you're coming here. I need to really let more people know. The problem is, this is like my replacement for connection via email, but unfortunately I have to use email to let people know to come here and connect, and people are like, with email. Anyway, one of the things that people forget to do when they're creating their vision, which when I say to create a vision, I always say you must be able to answer the question, why must I do this? Not why would it be kind of cool, or what problem would this solve? Why must I do this is not a problem-solving question. It's a big picture, my ultimate value, what the contribution is I'm going to make on the planet. Why must I do this? When you can define your vision to the point where you can answer the question, why must I do this, you stand a much better chance of going through when the resistance comes up and you get slowed down and people are saying, why are you doing that? You can't do that, all that stuff. When you're clear on why you must do it, you stand a much better chance of getting there. And if it's way bigger than you have ever thought before, you absolutely must do that because you'll get stopped. But one of the things that I don't think that I've stressed enough, and I got really clear on over the weekend for some reason, was another question that you should be able to answer, and it's kind of, who must I be? In other words, so I've got this vision, this inspired vision, and I know why I must have it, but who must I be to be able to have that vision be a reality? Because chances are you can't be the same person who you are right now and live into something that's much, much bigger than yourself. Because who you are being right now is a huge part of your overall vibration, and it's determining what is your current experience of reality, what you currently think is possible for yourself. If you're a person who has a grand vision and yet you still think small, who you're being is a little bit, I'm not sure, maybe, can I do this, or you don't take the action, that person cannot be in vibrational alignment with the person who's going to have to exist in this new vision. Is that making sense? Yes, no? I just want to be really, really clear on this. In order for us, okay, great, good. If anybody's unclear, please say I'm unclear. Owl, haven't seen you in forever. Good to have you here. Okay, great. So part of defining your vision is defining who you are in this vision. Who do I have to be there? Do I have to be more bold? Do I have to be more confident? Do I have to be more self-assured? Do I have to take better care of myself? Do I need to get more sleep? Do I need to give up some addictions? Right? Can the person who's struggling with, not taking care of themselves, not getting enough sleep, finding every excuse in the world not to do the things they need to do for themselves, can that person be the person in this vision in the future? Probably not. So when I first started, this is a big part of my story, and I've told it a zillion times in interviews, and here comes a zillion and one. When I first started this work with the law of attraction, I made a decision who I was going to be in this work. And I feel really actually blessed that I got this distinction about being very early in the journey. Because a lot of people, when they start a new path, they get into this, one day I will be this. Maybe they compare themselves with somebody else in their industry or whatever and say, one day I'd like to be that. And then who are you being like that? Who you're being is a person who would one day like to be like somebody. If that's who you're being, you're going to continue to attract the circumstances and so on to keep you that person who is one day going to be. Does that make sense? Because this is a huge distinction too. You know, the whole, well, one day, you think you're thinking correctly. You think you're thinking positive thoughts. You think, yes, be it now, Max. That's exactly right. Be it now. Well, it's be who you are, but also the grander vision of who you want to be. I mean, a lot of times we're not really truly satisfied with ourselves. We know we could be better, but we don't really take the time to craft that better version of ourselves. And that is just as important as crafting the vision, all the stuff, the house, where you're going to be, what are you going to be doing, who are you going to be doing it with? Who are you going to be in this? Are you going to be more loving? Are you going to be more generous? Are you going to take more time to meditate? You know, are you going to be, again, someone who looks after themselves and is dedicated to self-care? I mean, wouldn't it make sense that if you're going to live a grand vision where you're contributing your ultimate value to the world, that you're healthy and energetic, outgoing, enthusiastic, and happy? And if that's not who you are right now, then you can't expect that, well, I'll be that when I get that stuff. Because guess what? You can't be in alignment with having all that vision if you're still this person who is in this vibrational space of not good enough, not yet, one day, all that. You see what I'm saying? Okay, I'm glad it's eye-opening. So now here's the thing. You know, we talk a lot about the ego. I talk about the ego all the time when we talk about, you know, what your ego does when you create a grand vision. It freaks out, right? It doesn't want change. Well, compared to the vision of the stuff and the, you know, what your experience of reality is going to be, it screams a million times louder when you're changing who you be, who you are, the essence of who you are. Because the ego wants you to be the identity. Let's see, the ego wants to be your identity. Okay? And if you start changing who you be at a core level, that's basically saying to the ego, you're out of here. The ego is now screaming for its very life, and it will throw everything it has at you. Okay? And that happens when you create a big vision too. It always happens. You know, that you're always going to feel the ego resisting. That's just how so how do we speak it in the now? Well, first you got to get clear on who you want to be. It's just like every other aspect of your vision. That clarity, like, why must I do this? Why must I have this vision? Why must I be this? You know, who must I be and why must I be this? So getting clarity on that. You know, this is, again, a lot of this, so much of this is about being brutally honest with yourself. Like, you have to own where you know you're not in alignment with the excellence that you want to be in alignment with. But you can't expect that the result that you want is going to make you that person. You have to become that person first, and then the result will come more easily. So getting back to just my own personal story, when I started in this industry, what I decided who I was going to step into being was someone who could powerfully communicate these principles to as many willing minds as possible. That's who I was going to be. I was going to be good at it. You know. Now, this is not an ego or arrogance thing. It is about stepping into your power. It is about clarity. This is who I am because this is the only person who can live into the future that I'm creating, that I want to create. I can't be the person with, you know, oh, debt's always here. I can't be the person who says I don't have enough time, or I can't be that person and live into the vision that I'm, you know, creating on my vision boards or on my list or whatever I'm doing. So I just decided from day one, who I am is this person who just knows this stuff. And let me tell you what happened as a result of stepping into that. Massive downloads. Just when I first started the Wealth Beyond Reason program, which was, again, 2002, you know, I knew what I knew about the law of attraction and wealth consciousness and quantum physics and all of that. I knew enough. I had my ahas, big ahas, to create the first iteration of that program. But then, and when I first started it, it was, I don't know, a lecture, I think maybe 2 meditations, and five ebooks, right? So, and then I launched it with that. But at the same time, I stepped into who I am as a powerful blah, 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 right? An effective communicator of these things. When I really owned that, the downloads came, and I was writing and just channeling all of this stuff. And yes, I use the word channel without apology. So yeah, I mean, there was just so much content coming through me that this little program that I created quickly became this massive library. And over the course of the years, of course, it's become gigantic, because when I step into being someone who can communicate these things effectively and have a deep understanding of this, well, the universe just says, well, sure, well, then this person needs this information. Here's who you are, and here's what you need to be in alignment with that. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I need to know if that makes sense. I see hearts. That's a good sign. Okay, good. So good. Awesome. So I did that. And again, it's not about arrogance. It's not about, fooling yourself or lying to yourself or anything. It's like, nope, this is who I am. And just and being that. So to answer Al's question earlier, I knew who that person needed to be, right? So when you create your vision, you just got to get clear on, who am I being in this? Rather than being a spectator, right, of this vision fulfilled, which a lot of people do. They visualize, it's like they're watching a movie. You really got to put yourself in it, which people sometimes do, and to generate the feeling and the emotion, but they still don't look at who are you really being? Who are you being to create this, to sustain this? Okay, everybody's getting this, I hope, right? So what do you say to people that tell you that you are selfish when you try to be yourself? Well, you could choose not to say anything. Because, look, one of the most disempowering things ever is defending yourself, defending who you are. What? You don't know anybody that. It's their freaking problem if they don't get you. Yeah, it's just, you just go, okay, that's fine. I mean, they're saying way more about themselves than they are about you. Right? And to get into any sort of defense mode about anything just brings you down to where they are, and it's yucky. I've never done that. It's like what I say from what I've said from the beginning, is I don't ever get into debating the law of attraction or its existence or its reality or whatever. I will teach it. I will clarify. I'll answer questions. Clearly, that's what I do 3 times a week right here on the LOA Scope. But defending it, nah. If somebody wants to argue it, maybe there's some other teachers who love to do that. I do not. To me, arguing and debating is just this low vibration yuck. Not into it. And so if somebody looks at you when you step into your power and decides that you're being selfish or egotistical or arrogant, it's just because you have challenged them on a very deep level. Their ego is screaming, I couldn't do that, so you shouldn't. Right? And so it's really about the other people. Look, if you feel like you have something of value to contribute to them that might help them understand, and it doesn't lower your vibration at all, then say whatever if it's there for you to say, fine. But to get into a debate and to justify yourself, forget it. It's not a good habit to get into. Because once you start doing that, you know what's going to happen? You're going to attract more people who want to argue with you. And then the next thing you know, that's all you're doing. So hopefully that answers your question. I see a lot of people, contributing and saying basically the same thing. So if I'm going to wrap it up, in a neat little package, it's just to summarize, when you create your vision, your why must I do this vision, be sure that you're in it, but not just as the experiencer of, oh, look at all this fun stuff I've created, but who are you being? And again, remember, your ego will scream loudly. Who do you think you are? You're not that at all. Look at this whole lifetime of you not being that. You're not that. You could never be that, right? That's the ego screaming for its very life, for its very existence. Because you're about to be something else, which means they're out. I still need to have that scope about the ego. I mean, really dig in deep about the ego, because I'm really getting more and more and more and more distinctions around what that sucker's about, just how insidious it is, and how it shows up in these really, really, the ego will use whatever you define as logic to convince you and to stay where you are and to not take action, and it's going to sound really logical. However, if you have gotten to the point, why must I do this? Why must I be that? Then you can resist that. You can notice it. You can observe it. You can see, wow, that thought process or that thought that just popped into my mind is clearly ego-driven because it is not in any way in alignment with who I've decided that I must be. Right? So once you recognize, just observing the ego takes a lot of its power away. You know, just once it says, hi, I was just trying to stop you, but yeah. So noticing the ego is huge. All right, let's see. I just wrote down need to scope about ego. There you go. So we can scope. Let's blab together, Sandal. I'll do a blab on ego with one of my coaches, and you come on the blab and discuss it with us. Great, Jay Trebellino. Hold on, I gotta see if your first name is in here. Jason. All right, Jason. I gotta remember. I'm never gonna. You know, I can't believe I'm not following you yet after as loyal as you've been. So boom, consider yourself followed. All right, you've never blabbed, Sandal. Well, it's about stinking time. Would you be willing to? Would you be willing to? You gotta. If you got something to say on these things, the blab is the perfect forum to do that. So I think yeah, I know. Totally crashed that blab. I'm gonna totally crash that blab. Good. Come on. Wisdom Scopes would love to blab with you. Perfect. I would love to do that. So private message me on Twitter. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter, it's at Bob Doyle Secret, just like here on the Scope. And if you're not following me here, I would love it and be honored if you would. And share this with followers or tweet it out or whatever so that people can watch the replay. If this message has helped you at all, if it's gotten you looking in a place where maybe you weren't looking before, because it is critical. It is just as important, that piece about who you're going to be is just as important as every other aspect of creating a vision for yourself. Because you must, to live into a whole new experience, you're going to have to be a little bit different. You're going to be a different person. You're going to be, it could be that it's your true essence finally getting out, right? Who you really, truly are, without that layer of the ego compromising certain aspects of that part of you that is just craving to get out and have its impact. That's probably what it is. You know, when you look at who do you want to be in the future, it's actually just it's really who am I really? You know, who have I disconnected from over the years because of the ego and external input and all this other nonsense. You know, it's really about getting back to your true self. That's one way to look at it. I think that's probably pretty true. We're all we're all extremely powerful people. Some of us get our power taken away very, very early in life so that we have no sense at all of our personal power. And so for that, you know, for those of you who are like that, this exercise of creating who you're going to be is going to be more challenging, you know, extremely challenging. And it would be helpful if you can to, you know, get coaching or whatever around that and not try and take it on yourself, because if you just try to define that yourself and get past the, you know, resistance yourself, well, it's just you and your ego. That's not the strongest team you could possibly have for trying to burst through the stuff that is stopping you from seeing your true potential, your true power, what you're really, really, really about. Yeah, it is challenging, and yes, totally worth the effort. This is the thing, you know, people, they watched The Secret, and they thought, if they'd never heard of this before, they didn't, you know, weren't in on this conversation. I'm glad this was perfect timing. I get that comment just about every time we do a scope, so I'm really, really glad that things just show up for me the way that they do. See, I read the scope, and I got sidetracked. Oh, well. I'm sure what I was going to say was freaking brilliant. Maybe you guys probably saw where it was going, because I think, you know, we're tuned in. We've got a thing at this point. All right, well, that is about my half hour. I do like to keep these things down to a half hour. First, be who you must be, and then do what you must do. Therefore, have your life by design. Efrain is one of our coaches, and he's awesome, and he will be featured in one of our blabs, as well as Nori, who is also on here. And 15 or 16 other coaches who we've just brought in. If you're at all curious about coaching or want to check out what we do with coaching, you can go to boundlesslivingcoaching.com, and there's a little questionnaire there that you can fill out to apply to get a conversation with one of these coaches, so that you can see if coaching's right for you. But I'm just saying, whether it's ours or somewhere else, when you're really defining bigger, huge things for yourself, particularly when it comes to who you're being, outside assistance is probably going to be important. When do I plan to blab next? Well, I know I'm going to do the voiceover blab probably on Friday, but I want to do one of these law of attraction scopes. I've got all my coaches lined up saying, I want to talk about this. How do we apply to be one of the coaches? Well, the certification will probably not be offered again until, I'm guessing, January, the beginning of the year. This has been a year-long process, and it wasn't until about halfway through the process that we decided to actually form a coaching organization. What we were going to do first was certify the coaches, and then they go off on their own and be a certified Wealth Beyond Reason, Boundless Living coach. But then we all decided, you know what, let's just create a company. Let's just create a company. We all work together, and so that's what we're doing. And that's an endeavor. It truly is like creating a whole new company. But we're all together now. We're ready to go. So we'd love to help. And then so once we get this rolling and get it going, we'll probably offer the certification again, probably at the beginning of the year. So stay tuned for that. Oh yes, if you're on the Boundless Living email, you will definitely be notified when the coaching is. And also, if you follow me on Blab and Periscope and all that, I will certainly be talking about that, because I'm going to continue. I'm just realizing how much these magnify my eyes. I look a little, that's funny. I'm amusing myself. Okay. All right. Well, I hope this was helpful. It feels like it was. It feels like there was some, people got a little something out of it. When these topics, when my scope topics occur to me, they usually come in a sort of a boom. Oh, you got to talk about this right now. And I think a lot of it was because I was talking to, like, my son, who's 15 years old. We were talking over the weekend, and I was, kind of helping him talk about this whole who do you want to be as compared to who you've been. And it all just came together and said, oh, I have to talk about this. Amazing. Am I ever going to play the Yukon scopes? I do when I do Fun with Bob and Lynn, when she and I do our scopes, and we're going to do more blabbing too, because we want to bring on guests and bring on, I have a great friend who I did internet radio for years with. He's out in Atlanta, and bring him on as a co-host. We've all done it together before, and it's a fun chemistry. The three of us is fun, because he's constantly flirting with Lynn. Constantly. Nonstop. Why is that fun for me? I have no idea. Because I'm confident, that's why. All right. Lucy Senses new here. Well, it's welcome, Lucy. If you just got here, I'm just actually about to end, but you can always watch the MD of Massage. I am so ready. It's too bad you're not down the street, because I would pay you today. Of course, I don't know where you are. Where are you, Lucy? I'm in Marina Del Rey, but I am so overdue. So overdue. Email contact, Bob Doyle at boundlessliving.com. Bob Doyle at boundlessliving.com. Or you can direct message me through Twitter at Bob Doyle Secret. Is UK... Oh, you're in the UK. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, yeah, so watch the replay, because I start at 10 Pacific time and go for about a half an hour on these things. Obviously, sometimes I go a few minutes over, because it's just so fun hanging out. Bob Doyle at boundlessliving.com. That is correct. Thank you. Used to live in Venice. Oh, awesome. Yes, Venice is right over there. Right over there. See? Yeah, I love it here. I was in Atlanta my whole life, and I was just there over the weekend, like I said. Max, good to see you. I'm just about to wrap up, too. Good to see you again, and I appreciate you being here and spreading the love. Yeah, I moved here about 3 years ago, and wow, it's great. We are having something of a heat wave right now. You missed everything, Sandal. You missed the whole thing. I gave the one sentence that I said I would never, ever repeat. I'm kidding. I think since you've been here, I've just been saying goodbye for 10 minutes. Am I going to play the scope? Uke. Yeah, I keep saying I'm going to do that. I've opened this scope with the uke before. Feels kind of weird. But yeah, I think I'm coming up sort of about my own stuff around just doing a uke-centric scope. I need to get over that. I need to get into it. It's just, when I first started playing the ukulele in Atlanta years ago and going to open mics, I was petrified. But once I got ramped up, I couldn't wait. And I just need to ramp up again. I just need to do some, and then it's going to be like, easy peasy. But I still haven't done that. I'll have to take a look at that. All right, everybody, enjoy your day. Please, follow and all that. That way you can get notification through Periscope. If you go to Blab, you can follow me there. Again, blab.im/Bob Doyle Secret. And then you can see all the replays I've done there. You're going to find replays, some law of attraction stuff, but also some voiceover. Just everything I do on Blab, it's going to be over there. Okay, Sandal, great. DM me. All right, everybody, enjoy your day. Thank you, Ephraim, for being here, Nori for being here, everybody for being here. Hold on just a second. I just followed you. See? How easy was that? Ask, and you shall receive. All right, everybody, next LOA Scope will be Friday, 10 o'clock Pacific time, right here. So I look forward to talking to you then.